one of the most common questions we get asked is, what bird do I choose when I start wing foiling or as I progress wing foiling? We're going to talk about the wing foil bird and how to choose it. Let's do it.
Welcome back. We love you guys. Just want to say I hope you're having a great day. Okay. I love this sport. I want to get into it. I want to help my friends. I gotta pick a board. This is literally like the most important question we get all the time. How do I pick a wing foil board for 200 pounds, 150 pounds, 100 pounds, 300 pounds? It is a very big question in the industry. It's not the easiest to answer, but what we're gonna do in this video is we're gonna break down the best tips we can give you so hopefully you can get the right size, right board for you and your abilities and your size. So let's get to it.
Yeah.
So
from the beginning to progressing, that is a question that you will always have. It's like, okay, now I know how to foil, and should I switch? So let's
start with beginner.
Let's talk about like total beginner, maybe even never been on the water. I would say, just go bigger. The bigger, the better, really. Now with the birds, the shape that the wing foil bird have, which is more of like short, compact, it doesn't affect too much your riding ability. Like, it's not gonna get in the way. So I would say, if you get something big, like we would say, like what, like 120, 130 liters.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd say from 120 liters to even 150 liters. This is good if you're a big guy or bigger person. And even if you're a small person, it'll still work because it's volume. But big is good. But one important point is, like Gwen said, all the boards are starting to become bigger volume, shorter, a little bit wider to give you that stability. But just know that one important tip, we wouldn't recommend super long, because super long is actually, there's a water line that sticks. So you're trying to stay around, let's just call it the 5, 6, maybe pushing the 7 foot range. And I would say that's getting long. Yeah. I'd say all the boards are coming smaller, 5, 6 range. But what they're doing is they're putting volume to give you that 100 to 150 liter volume so that you can stand on it. And then they're going a little wider so they give you that stability. So in my take, that would be kind of the size I'm looking for.
Yeah. So then you will be able to, stand on the board, figure out the wing, and experience your first flights on the foil. And I would say, stick to this board until you are riding both ways, no problem. Once you feel like you are like very comfortable with this board, you are riding both directions, no problem, you are ready to get something smaller, I would say don't go way smaller. Like, don't go
like
from
44 liters.
Don't go from
that's
like
a huge jump.
Yeah, don't go from like even like 130 liters to 70 liters. That would be an incredible jump, and it's gonna
becomes tippier.
It's gonna make you feel like a beginner again. So you want like from like 130, 120, I would say 95, maybe 100 would be a
safe jump.
A good jump that's gonna feel like, a bird that's like around like 90 liters is a bird that you can have fun for the rest of your life on it. I sometimes ride this bird, which is 88. I have so much fun on it. So it's not, once you get around 90 liters, it's a bird that you pretty much will never outgrow. You can always have fun on it. Now there is some like conditions that maybe you would like after that a smaller bird. But once you get to 90, it's the bird you can have fun forever.
So I would say a couple of important ones are here. Let's give you guys some numbers, so hopefully this will help you a little bit. Now this is all subjective, but it'll help you kind of get a general idea. I weigh about 155 pounds. So at 155, I can stand on about 70 liters, standing there perfect, no issues. And that's a small push as far as the smallest, most stable I could stand on, we'll call it. So like the lightest of wind.
But that there is your balance ability as well that goes into
100%.
it.
And so what I'm trying to break down is at 155, skill level decent, 70 liters is what I can stand on. So that would be more advanced. So remember, if I'm new to this sport and I weigh 155 pounds, there's no reason why I couldn't choose a 100-liter board.
For sure.
And be stoked and probably have it forever. But I'm just giving you that breakdown of that would be the performance of what I could stand on at a very advanced level at 155 pounds. I would say most 200-pound people are around that level, even 180. They're always on 100-plus level, 100-liter boards, 90 if they're pushing it better. It's a good size, and not the shorter, but we'll call it 5 to 6 foot is really good because that pulls the surface area down, so it's less sticky when you get up on that, to get up onto that board. And just know that, Gwen recently, and I would say, when you learn this sport, you always want to go smaller. I want to get on the smallest board and do all the smallest things. It's actually turning full circle now, and thanks Balls Mueller, who's like literally the best wing foil in the world. In our first interview said, I'd probably end up riding my 60, 70, 80 liter board all the time because the wind's always light. It's true. Like, the bigger the board, you're always riding if there's any bit of puff. If you're on that small board and it lulls out, you're not riding. So,
well, a misconception is the smaller the board, the better rider you are. I think we need to break this misconception of I need to prove that I can ride a sinker board and that means I'm really good. It's not true at all. So really sinker board is fun for sure, and if you want to get into that, you can. It's a different technique for sure. We covered it, like how to get started on a sinker board. But to me the downside of once you go smaller, as a sinker board, you are underwater, you're gonna need more power. So now you are riding a bigger wing. Where if you start getting advanced and you want something very high performance, to me, that's when you're gonna start looking for a board that's the smallest board that you can ride, but that you don't need to have more power, that you can still have a small wing. So for me, that's when I switched to 58 liters.
And how much do you weigh?
And I weigh about 160 pounds, I think.
Kilos?
70 or something. But 58 liter for me, that is my favorite size.
Perfect. Now let's go into some of the basics, but it's good to know. I'm a beginner, I'm picking my board. Make sure it has a leash attachment so you can put a leash on the board. A longer track in the bottom of the board for your foil is actually better because all foils react differently. So the longer the track, you can adjust it to be always in the right position. You may want to get one with inserts where you can have foot straps or non-foot straps, something to think about. You definitely want a good deck pad, something that's just nice and soft because you're going to be on your knees a lot learning when you're first getting going. I would say this is more advanced, but a sharper release in the board. If the edges are a little bit sharper in the tail, that means when that water is going or the board is moving, that release happens really good because the rounder the rail, the water wraps around, so that's drag, that grabs onto it. So sharper releases is good for a little more performance. That's really extreme, people. This, I'm just kind of breaking everything.
I would say that's getting super picky. I would say the most important is really the volume.
Yeah.
Is the volume of your board.
Yeah.
That is
the color.
That is pretty important. The color is
because if it's red, you jump higher.
It's probably more important than the volume, but past the color, the volume is the one thing that is gonna be more the factor that is gonna make your board good for you or not. So
and weight's one thing that does come into play. It's really, really heavy. Really, it still comes down to the volume.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
But weight is one of those things, whether it's carbon, whether it's fiberglass. I would say, you want a board to hold up. It's going to get banged around. You're going to love this sport. You'll probably end up buying more boards. But in a nutshell, that's a good beginner setup. Now, extreme.
Extreme would be a sinker board. You can ride a 30 liter board if you want.
In very windy conditions.
Very
obviously.
windy, but
you don't need to. That's what Gwen's trying to say. Gwen could be on his 58 liter board all day long, doing everything in any condition everywhere, and he'll benefit that if I'm on the 30 liter and we're out and the wind lulls out, I'm sitting trying to get up, or I can't do a trick because if I fall, I'm not getting up. So as long as I'm on foil, I can stay and I'm good.
Oh.
So just those are the things you think about when you go
you
small.
are riding, maybe it's really windy, you are riding a 3, I'm riding a 2, you know, and
Yep.
with a 2, I can, I just, when I'm riding, it's just like so much like lighter in my hands than being overpowered, because when you ride a sinker board, you need that extra power to get going because you are underwater. So to me, that's when you want to ride the smallest board that you can ride, but not that you have to then start riding a bigger wing.
So hopefully it's helped you a little bit. Remember the key points. Red is for sure better. Just kidding. Most important point is volume. Look, don't be afraid to have more volume. Don't be afraid to be the guy on the big board in the beginning, because you're going to learn the sport the fastest and quickest, and then you can pick the right size board. But there's so many people getting into this sport that whatever board you get, you'll flip it to somebody else, you'll hook somebody else out. Here's how cool this is. This morning I got an email, I won't say who it is, of a gentleman who said, we love what you guys do. I'm giving this board and this foil away because I am now progressed to 90, 100 liter board, and he has a beginner setup and he wants to give it away to somebody who's in need. That's how amazing this sport is.
And that's what's amazing to me is like, now like he's gonna give that setup to somebody, and then that setup, you know, like that person is gonna use it, learn, and then pass it on to somebody else. And now that setup will be forever like a learning.
It's just beautiful.
You know?
I mean, that's how our world works. That's how it should be. So please share your comments, share everything that you've helped or somebody have helped you, anything that's helpful, because this is the whole point, is to help people not struggle as much and really enjoy the sport the way we all love it. And that's why you guys, the community, is so awesome, and we're just appreciative of you guys. And so on that note, we got to end on a good note. So what is it going to be today? Get negative. That's what my buddy Rob Douglas would say. That's a joke. But
what I would say is, you know, don't let the search for the perfect gear to stop you. You know, sometimes it's kind of like you get into running, but you are not going to go on your first run until you have the right running shoes, the running watch, whatever, the running shorts. Just get some shoes, get some shorts, go running, start running, and then you get better gear
but
as
you
you
definitely
do
want
it.
the best lenses.
Well, yeah, no, that is true. Like,
I mean, if you're running, what should you get?
if you get scratch up lenses, the one place to go is Tajima Direct. For every lens, any sunglasses, you basically, either they have it on file or they don't, and you send your sunglasses. They cut lenses, prescription, all the colors you want, polarized, best lenses on the market, and now you ride with the best.
TajimaDirect.com, take a look. So get yourself a wing, just start playing with it. That's it. You don't even need a board. Just start playing with it, learn the basics. And whatever, if you can borrow a board from somebody, if there's a used board around, as long as you're in the kind of the dimensions, what we mentioned, you're gonna get there. And with the help of, hopefully we can help you with our videos to get you there, and the support of anybody local in your area, I think you'd be pleasantly surprised on how you progress in this awesome sport.
To me, more importantly, you know, like more important than like the perfect gear is the time on the water. So, you know, if
I thought it was our friendship. Okay, people, so you realize friendship is...
So it comes second, time on the water is always first. I mean...
Sorry, we're getting distracted. I always have to do that. I'm sorry, keep going.
So yeah, spend the time on the water. It's not the perfect gear. What's gonna make you progress is how much time you spend on the water, not the perfect gear.
Today, what I want you guys to know, whatever your job is, whatever you're stressing about, here's what I would just put into perspective. Does it have a heartbeat? Because this has a heartbeat. This is important. No matter how hard your work is, no matter how stressed you are, it doesn't have a heartbeat. Remember that. Like, sometimes in life we go so hard at things and stress so hard at things that really, it doesn't even matter. It's just a job. I'm not saying don't do a bad job at your job. I'm just saying it shouldn't ruin your family relationship. It shouldn't ruin your, loved ones. It shouldn't hurt your general life.
I know we ramble a lot, but hopefully this was a good experience for you. put you in a good mood, you learn something, you are ready to get out and enjoy this sport that we all enjoy. So thank you so much for watching, and we will see you guys next week.